Hey you guys, it's Carly with Clothes by Carly. Thank you for tuning into Carly's Queendom. Today I will be telling you guys about how I bought a house and how you can buy a house. I bought mine with $80 at the closing table at 22 years old with no career. So yeah, keep watching on to hear all about it. So how to buy a house at 22 with no career and basically $80 at the closing table. When I bought my house, and what I recommend to my clients or anybody who's buying a house, there are three, you can say four, but three major components that goes into it, right? So number one is debt to income ratio. So when I bought my house, I kind of knew that I wanted to purchase. I was around the point where I was like trying to become a realtor, and then I knew I wanted to start real estate investing as well. And so I knew in order to buy a house that I had to have a lot of income. So I actually accepted a manager position at a restaurant, and I was on a salary, and the salary was high enough for me to purchase. I was like super stoked. I was 21 years old, and for a 21-year-old it was a lot of money. I was making about $40,000 annually. So yeah, I mean, it was great. I was like, okay, cool, this is perfect. And no, I did not graduate and get that job. No, I didn't go to school for it. No, I mean, honestly, I started that job 2 years prior as a cashier and was there long enough and worked my way up, enough to the point where they were willing to make me a salary manager at only 21 years old. So that was really cool. So when I got that job, I knew I had the income, check that off, required to purchase. And then debt. So when I got that job, I knew that I would have to get my debt under control. I just purchased a car that was about $7,000, and I actually paid that car off. So if you guys want a YouTube video about how to pay a car off, some tips and tricks on how I did it, it was easier for me because I was making a lot of extra money. So I just, tried to pay that off as soon as I could. I opened up and that was basically like the only debt I had. I didn't have any student loans at the moment, and yeah, so I just paid it off, and that really helped my credit score. So before I move on to number two, the second thing you really need to have in order, let me bounce back to debt and income ratio. So because my income was so high and because my debt was so low, what mortgage lenders do is they look at that ratio and determine, okay, how much house can you afford, right? The more income you have and the lower your debt is, there's a lot of space in between. So that's how you get pre-approved for more house, right? Because they'll look at that kind of gap and see this is how much they can afford. So if you're thinking about purchasing, I would really get your debt under control, or get it as low as you can so that your pre-approval amount will be higher, or in turn have to claim more income. So that's the other way to get around that. So those two things are under control, so I had those done. So debt and income ratio, we're good. The second thing I would say work on is your credit. So credit kind of ties hand in hand with debt, right? So when I paid my car off, my credit score shot way up. I also got like this college credit card from Wells Fargo, and I would literally only use it for like gas, and that's it. Like, I was super afraid of credit cards back then. Like, I didn't run it up at all. I just used it for gas, and I paid it off as quickly as I could. So debt was under control, right? My credit score was great. It was phenomenal. I made all my payments on my car on time. So by the time I purchased, when I was getting pre-approved, my credit was out the roof. It was like a 700, because I had no previous, I was just starting a credit history. So with the few things I did have, that little credit card, that car that I paid off, like it looked really promising at the time. So the next thing to do is have your credit in control. So you don't have to have a 700 credit score. That was what I did, right? You don't have to have a 700 credit score or higher in order to purchase. I would say you want to be around 640. 640 or 680 or in between there, right? The lowest I would recommend, I mean, you can go as low as to 620, right? But the absolute lowest that you can purchase, a lot of people don't know this, the absolute lowest that you can purchase a house, the credit score can be a 580. So I don't recommend it because there's some other hoops that you have to go through and things involved when you do that. But you can purchase with as low as a 580. I made life easy for me because I like easy life, and I just got my credit score together high enough so that I could purchase, right? So the third thing that I would recommend you do, that anybody needs to do, and that I did save some money. So the third thing I always tell my clients is you want to make sure you have a little nest egg set to the side for closing costs, for down payment, for moving expenses. Right? After you close on the house, you still got to move in and buy furniture and all that. So definitely have some savings saved up. I did not need to use my savings, thank God, but I did have a little chunk of change set to the side. Remember, I had this job where I was making extra money and I had very low bills at the time. Still have low bills, and you use that extra money to save, put to the side. So that's just the overall general basics to home buying. Those are the things I did, and then the last but not least thing that I did that put me in the position to come to the closing tables at $88. I got down payment assistance. Now, depending on what state you live in, right, even what county, there are down payment assistance programs that basically, will fund your purchase. The program that I used was Georgia Dream Hardest Hit Fund. It's $15,000. So, however, it's for first-time home buyers. There's an income restriction on there, so you can't make more than so much money, right? And then it's limited by county as well. And then not only that, they check your credit. So remember, I had very good credit, so they check that off, and then they check your debt to income ratio. So it's a little bit stricter, but it's definitely worth it, right? $15,000. Half of that went to down payment. Half of that went to my closing costs. So as a realtor perspective, that's awesome if a client has that program, because when negotiating, when writing offers, you're paying all your closing costs, right? You look better to the seller. So that was really awesome because I was able to write offers and say that I'm paying all my closing costs, when in reality I didn't pay a thing. Now don't get me wrong, right? The catch is you do have to have $1,000 contribution towards the transaction. So for me, that $1,000 was my earnest money on the house. I know I'm using a lot of real estate terms. I'm just in this video going to tell you about how I bought a house, and then I can go into depth about the home buying process in another video. But yeah, I used the Georgia Dream, the first time home buyers down payment assistance. So yeah, those are the things I got done before purchasing a home. Now, if you were to purchase a home after getting pre-approved, right, I did all those things in order to get pre-approved. I got the down payment assistance. When talking to my lender, she was able to give me a couple options, and that's the one I went with. However, what you would do next would be, after you get pre-approved, is to find a realtor. Luckily, I was my own realtor, and I went out shopping for a house. I went under contract one time. I sent 8 total offers before I found the house that I currently live in. So, word of advice, do not so a piece of advice, just do not get discouraged. It's going to take some time to find that right one. You may go under contract, it may fall through. I went under contract on this beautiful townhome, but there's I always insert my faith in there somehow, because really when you're out shopping and you're putting in offers, you gotta have faith that that one house that's meant for you, is out there. So just always stay hopeful. You keep shopping. Do not give up. Do not wait until the market gets better, right? We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what the market's going to look like. When I purchased, my interest rate was 4.75. Right after that, it shot up like a month later. So it's don't wait. Just start the process. Get pre-approved. Call me and ask those questions, because like I said, it's a process and it takes time. And so I wrote 8 offers. I went under contract once. I didn't like the HOA situation at that subdivision. I didn't really want an HOA. Kept shopping, and then I landed on the house that I live in currently. And so yeah, it was perfect. My down payment assistance, remember, $15,000 covered everything. Luckily I'm a realtor, so not only did I only put my $1,000 contribution, $88 at the closing table, I actually got a check, a commission check, from buying my own house. So that was great. So I ended up making money. So yeah, that's how you finesse it. And that's how I finessed it. I bought a beautiful home, perfect for a first-time home buyer. It has very strong bones, and it has room in here for me to get creative and fix it up and like do some small remodeling project. It's been so fun being a home buyer ever since. So you guys leave comments below. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see. If you want to see DIY, if you want to see more real estate videos, life as a realtor, give me comment suggestions, and I will bring you guys the best content that I possibly can. So it's been fun, you guys. It's been real. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next video.